What is it about Bitcoin dominance that gets Ben Cowen all worked up enough to post this meme of Lois Griffin looking at this bottle of pills that says making another BTC dominance video over and over and over again? There must be something that we're not seeing or understanding, because he is posting about this all the time, more than he actually posts about the price of Bitcoin. Honestly, what is the big deal about Bitcoin dominance? I'm going to give you everything you need to know without it being a 45-minute long video like Ben. I love you, Ben, but the videos are too long, buddy. I'm going to make it real short, and I'm going to give you actionable trading tips on how to use Bitcoin dominance when we get those shifts in momentum. So let's jump right to it over here on TradingView. The first thing I need you to do is pay attention. Get out a notebook, take notes. Don't just expect this information to soak in and be like, oh, okay, I got the info. No, write it down. Studies have proven that when you actually write down information as you're learning it, even if you have terrible handwriting, I'm in that constituent. I have terrible handwriting, but still writing it down helps to transfer it into your brain. It's your long-term memory. A lot of what you watch here on YouTube is all short-term memory stuff. You're just looking for a good fix. Oh, that's a good hopium fix. That's a great video. Oh, and speaking of, yes, there are tons of great videos on this channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, slap yourself and then slap the subscribe button. And then while you're at it, go ahead and hit the like button on this video and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about it and all that fun stuff. But what I need you to understand is that this content's going to be here for a long time, but the principles of what I'm teaching you are going to benefit you for the rest of your crypto trading career. So take this video seriously. Anytime I teach you something, write it down. You're going to be amazed at how well this stuff will play out in the future, okay? So first off, we need to talk about the price of Bitcoin, because the last video that I made over here on the Trading Bureau, corn. We should call it Corn Bureau. Can we pass something? The Corn Bureau trading. No, the last video I posted, thanks guys for all the views. It was right when Bitcoin was breaking out. If you did not watch this video yet, watch it. Again, there's a ton of great content in that video that's going to help you moving forward. So it would be not so fair of me to just kind of skip the price of BTC. So let's go ahead and look at that first. Now, we talked about support and resistance levels. Oh, I have to hide that. That thing is super duper annoying. Now it's right in the way. Hide. Thank you. So we talked about all of these different support and resistance levels being hit, right? All these different highs. We had all of these different pierces and all that stuff. Now we finally reached the point that I shared earlier this week that we saw BTC break above. Now, the main thing that I told you that had to happen, there were a couple things, if you remember from that video. The first thing is that I really wanted to see the price of Bitcoin above this white line for at least 3 days. Well, guess what? That is in. We've done it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on day 5 right now. Now, I understand this looks kind of weak, but we're going to talk about that in a second. But that's the first thing that I needed to see. Now, I'm adding this indicator on here. This is the TBO, the Trending Breakout Indicator. I use it for all of my trend trading decisions, and we're going to be using it in today's video to talk about dominance levels. So that's why it's staying on. But you can see it drew resistance right here, the red dotted lines. And guess where the price of BTC petered out? Right there at 67K. This level was what? 67,776. And of course, we got some wicks above that level. But the truth is that the price is above now historical, and previously broken resistance, which now flips to support, which is even better. So what are we expecting from here on out? The golden scenario, which I expect to have happen now, is what I've been waiting for the longest time. So we need to revisit, for all of you that missed the previous video, we need to revisit the whole purpose of a bull flag. Price comes up, and then we make lower highs, lower lows, until we finally get a breakout to the top. And what usually happens is not a moonshot. That's not usually what happens. We go lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, like this. And then all of a sudden, we get this range like this, and the price will break above. It will not shoot straight up. It'll actually come back down. That's normal to have it come back down. But this right here is the important and crucial area for Bitcoin. We actually want to see it come back a little bit and then spring off of that area. Now, while this isn't technically a bump and run setup, which we'll talk about in future videos that I love a lot, the setup, by the way, if that wasn't clear, okay, I'm just going to forget I even said that. Was a little bit weird. Let's not even draw attention to the fact that I said something weird. Let's just keep going. Not weird at all. And and then we got this bounce right off there, off of previously broken resistance, which confirms support. The whole reason why this is golden right here is because previously broken resistance becomes new support. That's the concept behind this. And that's exactly what we're seeing taking place with the price of BTC. Let me just trash those brushes. Okay, so what are we seeing right now? We got a break above long-term overhead resistance. So the golden setup that we're waiting for basically launching us up to these crazy levels that I'm super excited and anticipating, like up there, is a return back, which is going to freak out some bulls. A lot of you are over leveraged on your long positions, or you haven't taken profit yet. There's nothing wrong with taking a little bit of profit on the way up. But the main thing is that I expect BTC to come back down, to bounce off of this level. Even wicking into it is okay, but closing above this line is good, and then seeing a push higher. Now, let's talk time. So these videos are relatively time sensitive in that what I'm sharing with you is dealing with basically what's happening right now. So, given that today is Friday for me because I live in Tokyo, Japan, and the daily candle has just started, we have a day ahead of us. We'll probably see some drawdown over the weekend, and my guess is that early next week will probably come down to this level. Now, if we see a panic drop all of a sudden like this, a huge flush, that'll make me a little bit nervous before the weekend, because typically Saturday and Sunday see really, really, really low trading volumes and low or like very little to no price action. I am expecting a little bit of a return back down here to previously broken resistance, which confirms a support flip, and then pushing off higher. Now, are we going to go straight up to $125,000, $126,687 to be precise? No, it's not going to be a straight shot. We still have lots and lots of areas of resistance that we have to break above. More notably, actually, there are all right here. 70,000, 71, 71, 72, 73. Do I hear 74? Sold. So we also have a major area of short sellers and open interest of those short sellers. Basically, a lot of shorts opened up right about here, $70,300 or so. And it's like $10 billion of shorts. Once that level gets approached, oh man, they're going to get squeezed, and that will push the price of BTC up, and we'll see new all-time highs. But time frame wise, I don't think that we're going to see this bounce or return back to this resistance level this week or this weekend, but I think by early next week, I think it should happen. Now, if this doesn't happen and we just all of a sudden see the price continue moving up higher, cool, man. I don't care. That sounds good to me. I already have my bags packed. If we see a break of this, that would be very strange and not a really good sign. So that's the first thing I wanted to point out. The second thing I want to point out is what I shared with you about RSI. Now, I need to remove this because it's a little bit confusing. So what I have here is something that I call an RSI fan. And an RSI fan is essentially where I mark and plot out the highs to the next consecutive high, and that makes a resistance level. Yes, you can and you should be learning how to chart RSI. It's actually a really good idea. Then I do the same thing. Next high to the next high, next high to the next high. So we saw that we got some tests right here, just like support and resistance tests that I talked about in the previous video. And then we saw a clear break above, which is good. Now, assuming that BTC is going to be red today, yeah, it's already falling back down to this level. It's too early though, because the candle for today literally just opened 42 minutes and 30 seconds ago. So we could see this drop down. That's okay. But the fact is clear. We broke above overhead resistance, which is great. Now we need to see it push up a whole lot higher. And that's only going to happen when BTC really starts moving up. But RSI did what I thought it would do, which is good. So we're seeing a lot of overbought price action. It's very strong. So it's normal to see a correction, which reinforces the whole concept of coming back to previously broken resistance and then bouncing off of that as support and then pushing up higher. Kind of get it? We'll stop there as far as the Bitcoin update goes, like I said up here. But essentially, this is where we are, and this is where I think we're headed. I think we're headed up. I think we're going to be seeing some nice rocket emojis all over the place on crypto Twitter. Even though it's X, it's still crypto Twitter in my heart. I don't know about you guys. So let's talk about dominance. So essentially, dominance is a percentage, not a price, a percentage of the entire crypto market that is dominated or taken up, or how else could I say it? It's essentially a piece of the pie. Just go back to like 3rd grade when you learned about pie charts, okay? And if you're a little bit slow, maybe it was 8th grade, it's okay. Maybe you have it in one of those school districts, it's a little bit, maybe you went to private school, you did it in kindergarten, good for you, you're awesome, wow, so much better than everybody else. Here's your crown king. But dominance essentially is a piece of the pie. And it's way easier to think about dominance as pieces of the pies that's constantly fluctuating and moving. The biggest piece of the pie is Bitcoin. Most of the time. But there are moments where that piece of the pie for Bitcoin starts to shrink or it expands. And when it starts to expand, there's a couple of things that you need to understand in regards to how we need to react to the market. And that's exactly what I wrote here is dominance leading into trading. But first, let's show some dominance charts, okay? So let me go ahead and hide this. I'm going to pull up Bitcoin dominance first because, again, this is what Ben Cowen loves to talk about. And okay, question for all of you. Is it Ben Cowen or Ben Cowen? Because if I was him, I wouldn't want to be called Cowen. I don't know. it just doesn't hit right. So is it Cowen or is it Cohen? I think of it as Cohen, not Cohen, like the Cohen brothers, but like, because I've heard people interview the guy and it's like 2 different things. What is it? Cowen or Cohen? You tell me down below in the comments. You can use the emoji. If you think it's Cowen, then it's cow and then an N. So you can let me know down below. Or maybe he can just chime in and let me know and he can set the bar straight. I don't even think that's an expression. Let's keep going. Bitcoin dominance is on the rise. We're headed up towards 60%. So let's make it a nice and naked chart before we start layering on the indicators, because I think it's helpful to see this first. For one, this is a percentage. Like I said before, Bitcoin is dominating 58, almost 59% of the entire crypto market cap. That's why it says crypto cap up here. When we're talking about crypto cap, it's the total crypto market cap, which Bitcoin has 58.95% of. So we talk about dominance increasing for Bitcoin. This means that the market, while we are still seeing some incredible gains on meme coins that are on Solana, that are on AVAX, I've seen ones that are on Phantom as well. Like all of these weird meme coins are popping up all over the place and huge percentages. I'm not talking about that. We're thinking about the total crypto market cap, which currently sits at $2.255 trillion. So while those meme coins have fabricated amounts because they can say it's worth however much they want to say it's worth, they can say the market cap is whatever because they're making the coins up out of thin air. But Bitcoin is dominating 58.95% of the total crypto market cap. And I know I just ruffled a few of your feathers down there. Again, let me know what you think in the comments. You can rip me apart. That's fine. But it's true. So Bitcoin dominance, when it is moving up, what you need to understand is that a higher, or rather an ascending Bitcoin dominance, when it's moving up and to the right, we need to be extremely cautious and careful when we're using our BTC to buy alts. FBTC, LTC BTC, BCH BTC, any of these coins, even Solana BTC. We want to be careful. There are times though where we can and it will be more advantageous to use our Bitcoin to buy tokens like Solana, especially if there's bullish news. I mean, if you look at the chart for OHM BTC, I wasn't planning on talking about this chart, but this chart is ridiculous, literally ridiculous. It has had an incredible year since late December 2023 all the way here. It's basically pulled a 40x. So if you put in 0.01 BTC, you would have 4 BTC if you held for a year. So there are charts that are way nicer to use your Bitcoin and buy them. But most of the time, these charts look like garbage. They're all headed down. Why? Because the price action is not exceeding what Bitcoin is doing. And Bitcoin dominance is a great indication of that. So when we see Bitcoin dominance moving up, looking extremely strong, which it has basically all year from the beginning of, even from 2023, but good grief. Let's go back over here. So we're looking at January 1st-ish, right? Bitcoin dominance is up 14% this year. Now, have other charts mooned like crazy this year? Of course. Absolutely, they have. Since 2023, have other coins really shot up a lot? Yes, they have. But the fact of the matter is that Bitcoin dominance has been moving up so much over this period of time. I'm going to add the TBO because the TBO is a combination of support and resistance levels like I showed before, but also these moving averages that are here that make up the TBO cloud. If you've ever used the Ichimoku cloud, okay, which is a fantastic free indicator you can use. It does a couple things really well. It plots the future, the present, and the past all in one. So we can use this to gauge a couple of the same sentiments that we can with the TBO. For instance, when the price is above the cloud, it's strong bullish. Or actually it's bullish. And when the lagging span or the Chikou is above the price, then that's even more bullish. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance is extremely bullish right now on the daily time frame. It's looking really good. Now, the only thing about this is that this can be a little bit confusing and it's kind of hard to find the price after a while. Yeah, that looks like a whole lot of mishmash. Whereas, at least for me, this is a lot clearer. I can phase out all the dots and all the dings and pings and all that stuff, all the lines. And if I just focus on the cloud right there, I'm actually going to go ahead and just take everything off just so we can focus on the cloud. Because this is what I use pretty much all the time for every single trading decision. Because when I see a strong TBO cloud, meaning that the price is above the cloud, all four lines are angling up. Price is well above the cloud. This is a trend that's on fire. It's literally going to continue moving up and up and up and up and up. Okay, I'm going to bring everything back. Oops, no, I meant to do this. Now, I want to show you something else. When we look at the weekly chart for Bitcoin dominance, let's take that off because it's a little bit confusing to see that. Again, all four lines are pointing up, price is well above the cloud. It's just ripping and roaring. So when I see this, this is telling me that while we've had some great opportunities to trade against alts or trade our Bitcoin and buy alts with them, we need to be extremely cautious and careful because we know that Bitcoin dominance is moving up higher and higher, which is exactly what he is trying to tell us. He's saying, guys, I know you really want to use your BTC, but there will come a time and the time is not yet. Why? Because when we see a super strong uptrend for Bitcoin dominance, we want to be extremely careful. Now, there are other dominance charts that I watch. I love to watch this combined dominance chart of USDT, which is Tether, and USDC, which is Circle's USD coin. And I combine the two. You just add a plus symbol. And we can see the combined stablecoin dominance, which is sitting approximately at 6.87% right now. So one thing to keep in mind with this chart is that when we see stablecoin dominance moving up, this is a warning sign that there's probably going to be a lot of volatility for the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and everything else, because when stablecoin dominance is increasing, when you think about that whole concept of that pie, and we have that piece of the pie getting fatter and fatter and fatter for stablecoin dominance, think about it. That means the other dominance levels should be shrinking. Bitcoin dominance would be shrinking. Others will be shrinking. Ethereum dominance will be shrinking. Because if stablecoin dominance is increasing, that means that there's probably more fear in the market. Therefore, things are bearish. And we can use trend-based indicators to tell us how strong is the trend. Are we going to see a breakout? Is there resistance that we should be paying attention to? So let's go back to the chart, because I've been sharing this a lot on X, and save myself. I'm trying to teach myself not to say Twitter. It's so hard, but X. And we saw, again, we talked about this before. We have a support line right here. We have a test, and we have pierces. We got 1, 2, 3 pierces, and we're seeing a bounce taking place right here for stablecoin dominance. This again is leading me to believe that a pullback would make sense. So using this for trend trading, when I see the cloud start to flatten out, it used to be really, really vertical, not vertical, like diagonally moving up. When I see it start to flatten, that's a sign that we're looking at consolidation to continue, which is a good thing for this chart. We want to see stablecoin dominance fall. Why? It's the same concept. We want to see stablecoin dominance shrink to nothing. It will never get to zero, but we want to see it fall to some extremely low levels, because when stablecoin dominance is shrinking, that means that Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum dominance, Solana dominance, all the other dominance, like the market's pouring tons of money into Bitcoin, into alts, and they're not keeping their stablecoins free anymore. They're going all in on the market. And that's what this is telling us. Now, let me show you something. We saw an incredible rally. Let me get rid of this just so it's a little bit easier to see. From January 2023, stablecoin dominance combined was at 14.86%. We'll just say 15%. We saw it drop a ridiculous amount. We saw it drop 66% all the way until March. March. Wait, what happened in March 2024? I can't remember. Let's look at the chart for Bitcoin. Oh yeah, March is where we saw everything crash and everything went choppy and sideways. And that's just Bitcoin. Everything else dumped like massive. Everything dumped like crazy. So yes, it's extremely valid and important to pay attention to what stablecoin dominance is doing. Now, with that said, we saw some reversal signs here. We saw stablecoin dominance moving up. So the fact is that we want to see stablecoin dominance break support. We want to see stablecoin dominance fall down to Sheol. We want to see it fall down to Hades, down to the netherworld, now down to whatever you want to call it, all the way down to 5%. Because when we see stablecoin dominance plunging, that means that dominance, that the sliver of the pie for crypto market cap is going, it's going less and less, which means it's going into everything else. Make sense? Now, the other dominance chart that I think is worth paying attention to is others. The reason why is that the others market cap is basically the total crypto market cap minus top 10. Honestly, I don't even think of it like this. I envision the others to be more like top 50 and down. I don't even think like top 20, top 30, top 50. I mean, top 50 and down, way down. So these are all of our memes. These are all of our low caps. These are all of our fun coins to trade. Now look what happened and think about what's happened in the past couple of weeks. So ever since August, we saw a huge rally of 10%. We saw it return back to support, pushing up even higher, up to 10%. And note, what was the TBO cloud during this time? Super bearish. When it's red like this, all the lines pointing down, it's bearish. But we saw this moment in time where things looked like they were turning around for alts. We saw the price of others dominance shooting above the cloud, which is good. But look, now it's fallen all the way below the cloud. Things are bearish. Why are things bearish? Well, because the market remembered, Bitcoin is the honey badger. Bitcoin is king. Therefore, we need to be careful. While we can make tons of money on alts, we want to be extremely careful. We're not super over allocated into others. And I know that a lot of you don't want me to say this because you don't want to hear it. But guess what? Last time I checked, lots of the coins that were around in the top 10 in the last bull rally back in 2020 aren't there anymore. Go back even 4 years, 2016, 2017. They're not there anymore. What's been number one? Let me check the time. Since forever, it's been Bitcoin. There's a reason for that. Now, whether or not you like Bitcoin doesn't matter. You still need to respect the Bitcoin. Respect the honey badger, because the honey badger makes the rules. And once it starts going, typically nothing else can keep up. And lo and behold, when we look at the top market cap right now, Bitcoin is like doing so-so. And while there will be some coins that are slightly overperforming Bitcoin, most of them are going to suffer a lot. We've all seen the memes. We've seen the memes where Bitcoin tumbles like 2% and alts are down 20%. Why is that? This is why. It all comes down to dominance. So let's wrap this video up with the last thing that I wanted to share with you. Oh, that's not this. This is what this is. Wait, where's my notes? There they are. Everything's good, guys. Don't worry. If you haven't liked the video, by the way, you're silly. You realize that. You're ridiculous. Hit the like button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what else you want to learn, or actually, what would be even better? Leave a comment down below to let me know what you've learned from this video. I love the positive feedback. Oh, this guy has glasses. He looks like the nerd emoji. Like, that's great. Thanks for the confidence booster. But seriously, let me know what you're actually learning in the video. That would be more beneficial to me, or what things you feel like I left out. That's way more helpful for me as an educator, because I want to help you understand how to become a better trader. That's what I'm all about. So let me know in the comments down below what you learned from the video. And if you didn't learn anything, tell me what I missed. I'm okay. I can take constructive criticism or constructive feedback. And if it's about my little flubs, I'm just having mini aneurysms as I do the video, so it's fine. It's okay. The last thing I want to share with you is dominance feeds us into trading. And what this simply means is that when I look at dominance charts, when I see what's happening, this is informing me of how I can be more aggressive, or basically times where I should be more conservative as a trader. And I'm specifically talking about trading alts. So when we look at Bitcoin dominance, we'll start here first. If Bitcoin dominance moons, quote unquote, and this is basically a moonshot right here, it's moving up 1.83%, but it's a lot. When we see it move up like this, what we typically see happen next is it tops out. We can use RSI, and we should. We can see over here, we had another similar quote unquote moonshot, moved up 2.25%, but eventually it topped out. Look, RSI got weak. And when this happened in mid to late September, this was actually a pretty nice time to trade alts. And we can trade it, note when it happens too. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, over the weekend. And then we get a little bit of chop. When we see Bitcoin dominance staying sideways like that, that's a great time for us to also be trading alts. The reason why is simple, because when Bitcoin dominance is flat, that means that dominance is moving into other spots. Typically, it's moving into others, okay? But when we see Bitcoin dominance increasing, we want to be increasingly careful of our exposure to others. All of those mid, low caps, memes, stuff like that, which is why I say over and over, there's nothing wrong with taking even just a little bit of profit on any rally that you have. There's nothing wrong with that. Anyone that's trying to convince you to stay diamond hands, or to sit on your hands, or to like just turn off your portfolio, no, you're here on, last I checked, hold on a second. Last I checked, this is the what channel? This is the Coin Bureau trading channel. So you should be taking a trader's approach to everything you're doing, which means that you should be taking profits. All right, rant done. Now, when we see Bitcoin dominance falling, this is typically a good time that we can trade with our Bitcoin and buy alts with it. But we know things are bullish, macro level bullish. But when we get to a point where Bitcoin dominance is super overextended like this, we get a nice upper wick like that, this is typically a great time to use our Bitcoin to trade some alts. But knowing that the trend is macro bullish, we want to be careful. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for one of these situations that I honestly need to go so far back in time for. It's not even funny. What we're waiting for is one of these. And I've already made this in a separate video, which is why I have all these notes. What we're waiting for is Bitcoin dominance to top out and then crumble and fall. Note the time. When did we see these yellow dots, which are breakdowns? April 1st, 2021. We saw Bitcoin dominance drop like a stone. That's because alts went absolutely crazy during this time, especially from January to February and March. And then we saw a bear market summer in 2021. That's true. But when we see Bitcoin dominance falling, that means that alts are typically going to be ripping. But when we see Bitcoin dominance slowly increasing and getting more and more bullish, we need to be careful about that. Okay, so that's the first thing. Stablecoin dominance, we can do the same exact thing. When we see stablecoin dominance is extremely overextended, meaning like one of these long upper wicks, it's a 10% wick. Note the date here. August 5th, we had the Nikkei crash on this day. So when we saw this major crash in the market, we saw a lot of the market panic selling their positions into stablecoins because of the fear induced by the Nikkei crashing. However, this is actually an incredible dip buy opportunity. When you see stablecoin dominance wicking like this, when it's making these huge wicks, these are typically great entries. We haven't had one of these in a while. Now, vice versa, when we see on RSI, and we get one of these reversals where we see RSI crossing up 25, up 25. These are typically reversal signals that we should see stablecoin dominance increase. And when stablecoin dominance is increasing, or seeing signs of it starting, we need to be cautious and careful about using our stablecoins to buy alts, to buy Bitcoin, because there's a greater chance that stablecoin dominance increasing means increased fear, meaning less chance for us to make some good gains. Now, there'll always be outliers, but that's how I interpret it. The third one, the way that I use others is really simple. This is a reflection of the overall others or low cap, mid cap, meme coin market, in my opinion. Now, we can use the same concept when we see RSI crossing up 25, when we see reversal signals from the TBO or whatever indicator you're using as far as it's trend-based, like the Ichimoku cloud, or even if it's just MAs, moving averages. When we see this, look, we have the inverse. We have a long lower wick. Now, is this the bottom? I don't think so. But when we see long lower wicks like that, that's typically going to be a bottoming signal. And when we see others dominance increasing, this should give us more confidence to get into alts. Therefore, when we see others dominance petering out like this, or we're seeing it overbought, and then we see RSI losing strength, see that? Even though this is kind of holding a little bit, we already got the signal way back here in late September. While alts have been amazing, we've seen a lot of them start to fall and crash really hard. Reef, for an example, crashed mega hard after having an incredible rally. Literally fell in one day, 60%, then 50% the next day. So you want to be careful, because good grief, falling 85% over the course of a couple days is massive. Oops. It's a massive, massive decrease. Now, were there signs and signals? We're not going to get into this chart. I'm going to let Dan take over stuff like that, although I have my own opinions. But speaking of dominance, when we see stuff like this, we see reversal signs forming on others. This is giving us a glimpse that we could be seeing a good entry, or rather a window of opportunity for us to use our stablecoins to buy alts, meme coins, AI coins, all that fun stuff, mid cap, low cap, all that, okay? So going back to recap everything that I just said, which was a lot, it's a mouthful. There we go, there's my text. I expect Bitcoin to retrace back to where we were, back to our previously broken resistance line, confirming it as support, pushing up higher. That's the first thing. Second, dominance, we have to pay attention to it. There's a reason why Ben Cowen or Cowen, again, let me know in the comments down below. I have no idea, literally. There's a reason why he pays so much attention to it. He's trying to help us. So if we know that Bitcoin dominance is topping out and we're seeing bearish signs that it's coming down, then we should have more confidence to use our Bitcoin to buy alts, which goes into the trading aspect of this. Now, I do recommend looking at combined stablecoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance, and others dominance. Now, it's a lot of charts to keep track of. I watch these pretty much every single day. I do post updates and stuff on X. I'll do my best to keep updating stuff like that here on this channel. But these are charts you should be comfortable with and should be learning how to recognize patterns and just chart them. It will help you out so, so much. So again, if you have not yet subscribed, slap yourself twice, and then whoever's next to you in the room, slap them too, and tell them Aaron told you to do it. And then they can subscribe too, I guess. So until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.